Hi, and welcome to the SEO podcast, Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing. My name is Chris Burris, owner of eWebStyle.
I'm Charles Lewis, your Internet Marketing Specialist.
Welcome back to another fun-filled edition of our show. This is podcast number 285. Our previous podcast was
284.
Pretty obvious there. And we do have a tip from that podcast, and that is craft your newsletter with the purpose of sending people to your site.
Craft your newsletter. Why are we even talking about newsletters?
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah,
why are we? Because last podcast was all about newsletters and how to make them more impactful. So if you have a newsletter and a mail out you're doing, check out podcast 284. Great content there. Now, the reason you want to craft your newsletter is to send people back to your site. Pretty simple, actually, because everything happens on your site. Like what? I don't know. The conversion happens on your site. Your contact information is on your site. If you're doing any remarketing, they get on that list by visiting your site. And studies show that the inbox is still the most visited place on the internet. More than Facebook, more than YouTube, more than Google. People go to their inbox, which is why you should be sending that newsletter to get them back to your site.
Absolutely. So make sure that you craft your newsletter with the purpose of sending people to your website. We are broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and do remember, we are your friendly local neighborhood top position snatchers, and our mantra is
don't be a douche.
Do not be a douche. All right, we've got a nice article today.
Man.
It's about SIVO, actually, right?
About SIVO, exactly, and interesting name. They called it something different in the article. Didn't call it SIVO, they called it SXO. Search Experience Optimization.
Oh, okay.
Interesting, right? So, man, punch in the face to Tom Demers and the good guys over at Search Engine Land, squeezing more value out of your most important SEO landing pages. And so we'll dive in a minute and talk about how you can use your current SEO and improve on that.
All right, well, we'll get right to that pretty quickly. Hey, if you're in a position to, got some sort of electronic device, go ahead and tweet. And what should they tweet, Chuck?
First off, you should be using the hashtag SEO Podcast. This is number 285. Be sure to tag us in it at Best SEO Podcast at eWebStyle. That way we can follow you back and do all of our social networking stuff.
Excellent. You notice it's a sad day here at the office.
Yeah, I saw that tat when I got here this morning. I was like, man, that boy is tatted up.
Yeah, I had to stop by on the way in. There's no reviews. When we don't get reviews,
he gets tatted.
Get this tear tattoo on my face. And we also get to discuss with you how you could leave us a review, because we're just assuming you didn't know how. And we start that by saying, hey, if this is the first time you've listened to our podcast, howdy, welcome. It's good to have you join us. We're going to get through the potatoes of our podcast and into the meat. We just told you it's going to be about what we call SEO, Search Engine Visitor Optimization, what to do with the visitor after they get from your website. And if you've listened to this podcast before,
you already know.
You know exactly what we're about to do. We're going to talk to you about how you could leave us a review. It's much appreciated, good, bad, in between. We do hope that you make it 5 stars. And the first place you could leave us a review is our G Plus page.
Yes.
We've made it easy for you to get to that G Plus page.
Easy.
Really easy. All you have to do is go to e-webstyle.com/
Google Plus
/
Google Plus
/
G Plus
/
G Plus.
All of those will take you immediately to our G Plus local page. We've made it so convenient for you. And on that page, when you get there, you should do 2 things.
Yeah, do 2 things. First off, leave us the review. Hopefully that review is 5 stars. Then after you leave that review, put us in a circle. We'll put you in a circle. That way you can share some content with us. We'll share some content with you.
Ask questions through our G Plus local
Watch
page.
videos. It's a lot more you can do there, but do those 2 things.
At least those 2. The next thing we might ask you to do is only 3 steps. All you need to do is go onto iTunes, create an account, and write a review. Again, hopefully that review will be 5 stars. And if you want to, send us an email. You can send your email to podcast@e-webstyle.com. And that email will come to us. We'll probably read it on air, or we'll know that you wrote us a review, and we'll make sure to get you a review on air. Next is our Facebook page, facebook.com/
eWebstyle.
And there's a review thing, and then there's a review app, and you can click the stars, and you can figure it out. Just go there and write us a review, and please make it 5 stars.
You can also ask a question on Facebook.
Yeah, ask questions. It's a good place to ask questions. And then finally, we're still trying to get our Stitcher stars up. The people on Stitcher have been very mean to us, not for our fault. Like 2 of them were complaining because our well, it is
The
our
feed
fault.
was messed up.
It is our fault. It's just not reference to the quality of the podcast.
Yeah.
The feed was messed up, and they were whining about the feed not showing our latest podcast on Stitcher, and we're like, okay.
So they gave us a negative review on the quality of the podcast.
I was talking to somebody the other day, I'm like, it's kind of like your iPhone 6 Plus shows up on your doorstep crushed, and you go on to Apple and write a bad review about the iPhone 6 Plus.
Yeah, when it's not the Plus, it was really your shipping person.
UPS or FedEx or your neighbor who ran it over, whatever it may be. So, yeah. And also on Stitcher, if you could, please make sure that review is 5 stars. All right, so we like it if you haunt us, stalk us, harass us. There's many ways you can do that. Those ways are Facebook.com/eWebStyle, YouTube.com/eWebStyle, Twitter.com/eWebStyle, and Instagram.com/eWebStyle. All of those, you can follow us and harass us and share pictures.
And check
with
it,
us.
like do it. We're actually trying to put forth some effort to be more socially conscious.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of fun in the office, and so you'll catch some of that stuff on Instagram. Everything from what we do here to different clients who come to visit us. So yeah, definitely stay connected and tap in with us.
I just posted photos from. We delivered a celebration package to one of our clients, Mr. David Hunter. What a great client he is. All right, so if you are a PHP expert or a WordPress genius, we'll just throw that out there.
Yeah, give us a call.
We're probably looking for you. Submit your audio resume 713-510-7846 if you are looking for a free website analysis for you or one of your clients. Go ahead and go to our website, e-webstyle.com. You will find a free website analysis somewhere. And now it is time for the favorite segment of the show, the Algorithm Cataclysm. I think it'd be easier to shake the table. That camera's just stable.
Very sturdy, or loosen something.
Yeah, maybe we need to get the really cheap tripod, which would be easy to shake around. Yeah.
So dig this Algo Cat, and I wonder how many of you guys have actually noticed this already. If you have, tweet us and let me know. But go to your favorite browser, mine is Chrome, do a Google search for any type of local search, like, I don't know, an SEO company in Houston, or maybe an AC repair person in Bel Air, or wherever you're at and whatever your service is. Search for it and tell them what you see different. They should see a difference. This is a huge difference. Why this is catastrophic algo cataclysm. They have removed 4 of the local listings.
So it used to be the
used to
7
be 7 pack.
Yeah.
A through G, that's what we were going after. Now it's like A, B, and C.
Yeah.
There's only 3 listings. What does that do? Well, it's good and bad.
Right.
Let's talk about the cons. Some of the cons in that are for those other 4 listings who probably were getting decent traffic from local search. That's not gonna happen no more.
Probably gone.
That's gone. Yeah, it's gonna be difficult to to outrank those other 3. You're gonna have to make some changes to your profile. It's a good time to go make sure your NAP and your citations and all of that is A1. Now, the pro for that is that when they did that, the page actually got cleaner.
Right. Like
the sidebar isn't that long. The big map that was distracting on the side isn't there. You lose that brief description of the first company,
when
which
you're
is
hovering.
cool.
Oh yeah.
You know, that showed up on that. You lose that. And more importantly, you lose the phone number isn't there, that phone number site link, and those links to the G Plus page aren't there. What is there is the link to the website, and that's one of the pros. And so now people can't necessarily convert from the search engine results page
right away.
They have to click over to your site. And if you paid attention to the tip we just shared, there's value in getting people back to your site. And so they can convert there, they can get on your remarketing list, frankly, which could be some of the reasons why Google wants to do that, because they maybe figured out that they could increase spend if they remove some of these free local listings. Frankly, more people will likely begin to pay and include location site links in their paid ads to compensate for losing those last 4 places. So I think I'm figuring this out, Google, on why you made that change. But at the end of the day, I think it's a good change. And like all Google changes, we must
subject to change.
And,
and the change is subject to change.
Exactly.
It may get rolled back. It's interesting because you have always, ever since we've been, talking to customers, have always talked about how you search, and you specifically say, I click 3 sites and then look for the one that has the phone number, and whoever calls me back first gets the AC repair work or whatever the example is. And now they went to 3. So it makes me a little nervous in that perspective, because the 4 and anybody else, I've always when it was 7, I'm like, well, how do you crack this? And we all know that it's not necessarily true that those 7 are the best businesses or the one you should be doing business with or whatever.
Yeah, because depending on what you search, the last ones may frankly be have negative reviews or whatever.
Right.
And so they could definitely not be the best search result.
So now we're down to 3. Having said that, if the intent is a phone call, so especially those businesses that drive phone calls, it's actually going to open the door for them, because when they click through to the map, they're going to see a lot more if they don't go to the website. So
now I wonder if that changes based on search query, right? So maybe I'm doing a local search, AC Repair Houston, and I'm asking for a phone number.
Okay,
the number to the AC Repair Company Houston. Like, I wonder if my level of results change, right? Because I've added a different qualifier in my search terms.
Interesting. We'll have to. It's still unfolding, so we'll have to figure that out. So if you've got any comments on that, go ahead and throw it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/eWebStyle. All right. So I've got a little bit of news. I wanted to throw this out there because we've been working on this problem with Google for quite some time. So we have a client.
Two clients.
Yeah. When you search their name and the word menu, the first thing that pops up, courtesy of Google and some source, is a menu. Well, in both of those clients' cases, that menu is old, and we have no effing idea how to change that menu. So we've been working, we've been on the phone, like we've talked to Google, we've been schmoozing them, we've been yelling at them, we've been cursing at them. Well, no cursing, but we felt like cursing at them, and we've gotten a hold of smart people, and we've gotten a hold of really stupid people, and all of this, and we think we've identified it, so we'll give a follow-up next week. Loku.com, and I think what we're doing, correct me if I'm wrong, we're just deleting that profile. We're saying, hey, get rid of our Loku profile for those 2 customers, and then hoping that we see that they come from there. The other thing that we're also going to be doing is doing proper schema markup.
We're going to add some structured
if there
data.
Is a menu
so
schema markup.
Okay, there is one for restaurants that includes menu, and includes location and things like that. And I think the bigger issue here, as I get on top of my soapbox and address Google directly, the bigger issue is that when displaying important restaurant information, like, I don't know, menu items for a specific search result, the problem is, rather than pull the data from the website, which would likely be more accurate, you're deciding to pull it from Loku or Get Found or whatever other source, single platform, and all these other sources to display that content there. More importantly, you're making it extremely difficult to change that as the page manager. And so if this page is verified, and I am the manager, and we control all the links on this page, I should be able to give you the right menu link.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why we can't change it, and so it's becoming an issue.
Yeah, you can get off your soapbox.
Yeah,
that was good.
Step down now, but come on, Google,
that worked good. Next, I have in the news Google Fi. Right, so I don't know if you know about this. So this is a phone that Google's coming out with. It's a prepaid service, $20 a month, and then plus data. The interesting thing that I thought was, the thing I thought was really interesting about it is it doesn't.
You said that was a phone?
Yeah, it's a phone. The interesting thing is it's not just, so they're piggybacking just like Cricket does, just like everybody else does on the AT&T network or the Sprint network. This phone piggybacks on both.
On both of the major networks?
Of the major networks. So you got great Sprint connection, it'll stay on Sprint. You got a great AT&T, of course it's CDMA versus whatever the other one is. Yeah. And if the connection is strong, then it uses that one. So it kind of any carriers that's saying, hey, ours is better because we have 90% coverage and theirs sucks. Well, my phone uses both. There is no better coverage than both. Interesting thing in the review, he said it didn't help much. So now you want to run a test.
I thought Google Fi was Google's Wi-Fi that they were working on.
So this was the phone. I don't know what maybe the name crossed over. I don't remember. But yeah, this one I just jotted down, and it's nice little phone box, earphones, and phone's like $500. And
of course it is.
But I love the concept of
running.
Yeah, because we've had conversations where one of the guys here in the office, when he goes hunting, his buddies with AT&T have good connections, and he
has-
with Sprint doesn't. You get this Google Fi phone, you're all good. So very interesting.
I can dig it.
Hey, I got really good news. This is actually very, very, very salient and applicable to the podcast. Often, sometimes our news isn't. We got really good news. So now you don't only have to design for Chrome and Firefox and Opera and IE. Microsoft has decided to add another one, Edge. Windows 10 is rolling out. It comes with a browser called Edge.
yeah.
Believe it or not, we hadn't bothered to put 10 on anything, but we had one of our projects, a guy from one of our projects come in and had just put Windows 10 on it. The first project we pulled up, different rendering.
Of course it is. Of course, why would Microsoft make it any similar? Which kind of makes sense, right? We will not make this like IE.
Yeah, because that's why we're making
That's
one
why we're
other
making-
than IE.
So, but yeah, come on, like.
So, and as people roll on to 10, they're going to be using Edge, and so you're going to start getting customers who call say,
Well, they're going to use Edge to go download Chrome.
yeah,
Is
hopefully,
what'll
yeah,
happen.
yeah. And apparently they've made it hard. I didn't dig into the details of this, but Microsoft once again has made it very hard for you to change off of the Edge browser.
Of course.
Yeah. So
Of
I thought they
course.
were not supposed to do that anymore. And then finally, I thought this, Apple Music's been out for a little while. They got 10 million users or something, but there are widespread problems with that
Oh,
application.
it's been a lot of problems with
like a
it.
disaster, basically. Well, in some cases, have you tried? Have you messed
I
around with
have
it?
not tried it. I know somebody who has, and they actually pay for the streaming service. And yeah, I think there's going to be different flaws with all these streaming services.
Right.
Which is why I prefer to download music directly to my device. And until they figure out a way to accomplish that, I don't care if it's Apple, if it's Google Play, if it's Tidal, if it's Spotify, they're gonna have issues.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my stuff on my on the
Yeah,
phone.
because you
Google
may be
Play
like.
what kind of problems did you bump with Google Play, or just?
So I love Google Play.
Yeah,
I use it. I got my whole library up
Yeah.
there. But the problem is, if I've got if my connection isn't strong, then my music
you have no music. Yeah,
my music is buffering and choppy
and you can slate some of it to stay local.
yeah. I can download some local and
but
who
that's
does
still
that?
that's a pain in the
Yeah,
ass.
who I'm gonna listen to these 100 songs.
Some of the problems they were talking about on Apple Music was like random songs were showing up in my playlist. I was putting songs in my playlist and apparently they weren't getting saved in my playlist. I mean, how frustrating is that? You're like putting this together for a jog or a road
whatever.
trip or whatever, and then all of a sudden you start firing it up and there's no data. So
Yeah. So
That's
one
it.
little piece of
Yeah.
news I had, we were talking about schema earlier about for restaurants
Yeah.
and stuff. So Google did release some new schema markup
right,
for reviews.
okay,
For reviews.
All right.
Awesome. So consider you go to Google and you do a search for, I don't know, eWeb style reviews.
Right.
Right. That's a great search term. You should see a whole bunch of 5-star reviews. But if you did that, what would happen now if we use schema and mark up some of our reviews, then those reviews will show up in the knowledge graph
Oh, okay.
for people searching for those type of reviews. So what does that mean to us? What does that mean to you? Well, consider some of our clients who have testimonials in their sidebar and testimonial pages and things like that. In reality, those testimonials are nothing but reviews.
Yep.
Then we should begin to mark up some of them so that way they can be displayed in the knowledge graph when people search for those companies and tag it with the word reviews.
It is funny because I just assigned it that task prior to this.
I
new
know you
update.
did, but we were doing it a different way. We were
Well,
using
with the
the
old
plug-in
schema.
with to get the 5 stars and everything.
Yeah, and I went back and looked at that plugin, and it's not working anymore, or at least the stars aren't showing up, and it doesn't have schema. So this task fell in my radar at the right time when schema was available for it. Because interesting, because the proper schema does exist on Yelp and other ones already. So of course they would be on top of it. In fact, Google might have even pre-warned them or
I
something.
said, hey, y'all need to be marking your reviews up in this
If
fashion.
you want those stars to show up. All right, so that is the potatoes of our podcast. Time to get into the meat.
Man, and we got some good meat today, man. Again, punch in the face to Tom Demers over at Search Engine Land. Posted this article, squeezing more value out of most of your important SEO landing pages. Squeezing more value out of your most important SEO landing pages.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
so I
worth
think
repeating.
it's worth repeating, and
Yeah.
I think it's a good time to just kind of manage the expectations of this article. You got to understand that when you have pages that rank, especially if you have a moderately sized website,
right,
then you have to take advantage of the pages that rank. And sometimes everyone has these pages that maybe rank and they don't convert well or whatever. And so that's what we're going to talk about. How can you help those pages actually do better for your business? So he starts off by saying, know where you're at. and I really like that. He goes on to say the first step is to identify the pages you want to work on, right? You have to know which pages are you going to spend this effort on. And he listed a couple different ways you can figure out which pages there are. First off, he says you have pages that are 0 to 1 opportunities. Right, so this is the page where the pages have the potential but aren't currently doing anything for you. Right, or you may have some low-hanging fruit, he calls it. And low-hanging fruit is the content that's ranking, either 5 to 10 or maybe even at the top of the second page in the search results. Low-hanging fruit, right? Take this page, it's already ranking fairly good. All you need to do is make some tweaks. Or lastly, you have your top performers, right? And these are your best performing pages, and you're able to kind of re-optimize those and make them work harder for you. So you have to understand which pages you're going to target, right, to figure out where you're actually at in regards to that process.
And we've talked about this all the time. The kind of general premise, 50,000 foot view that people have about landing pages, we kind of don't subscribe to.
Exactly.
We write every page so that it can be indexed properly by Google, so it can show up in Google search results, and therefore each page is in fact a landing page because people might land there, and so we want these components in them. So
yeah, we want to make sure every page has the potential to convert.
Yep.
Right. So every page should have a prominently displayed phone number. Every page should have easy access to a contact form. Every page should have easy access to subscribe to a newsletter or to be social without distracting the immediate content that's on that page. And I think we found a good process and a way to get that done.
Yeah, we've seen lots of clients. We launch a new website, 30% pops in phone calls and form submissions.
With just existing traffic.
Yeah.
Not even a growth in traffic, just their current traffic. So number one, he says determine what's already ranking and driving traffic, right? He says before you start to update the pages you've identified as opportunities, you need to understand what not to eliminate from your page's title and content. And he's absolutely right. Worst thing you want to do is go in and feel like, oh, this is the page I want to target, and you begin writing new content, changing titles, changing meta, adding this, really changing the focus of the page, and then after re-index, you've lost your ranking. That is not what you want to do. So you first off determine what is ranking. Find what keywords are already ranking and on what pages. Right. So this requires some great use of analytics. Let me sidebar and say I'm gonna share this article because he included plenty of screenshots and tips and different reports you can find in analytics to help you find this information.
Yep.
And so I won't get into all of that because we don't have a visual aid to support that, but I will give you some of my favorite reports verbally that you can go and do that with. So when in regards to determining what's already ranking and driving traffic, one of the tools we like to use is Moz.
Yeah.
I use Moz for our keyword ranking. And so run your Moz report, and Moz will show you not only which keywords are actually ranking, but it'll tell you the position they're in and the URL to the page that's actually ranking.
Now, just because you use that tool mostly, is that just for the keywords you've told Moz to follow?
Yes.
Or, okay,
this
cool.
is for my target
So I got
terms.
another
This
tool
is
for
my
you.
target terms. Go ahead.
So the other tool I would use is SEMrush.
Yeah, and that's what he referenced, that SEMrush.
Yeah, because SEMrush, okay, yes, you've kind of identified these, 15 to 100 target keywords, depending on how you're running your campaign, and you've put them in Moz, and you can see how they're ranking, and they're going up, hopefully, because you're following tips on this podcast. But what about, are you missing
the secondary terms, all the terms you don't have?
Go to SEMrush and you can type in your website, and what SEMrush does, and the number is probably wrong, but they search, they have their robots search about 22 million of the most popular phrases.
Yeah.
It's probably bigger now, and then they index the results that they find, and so they are searching phrases that are popular enough to be in that 22 million list. And if some of those are related to your business and you don't have them in Moz, you'll be able to see them.
Definitely.
And then do the same thing for your competitors to know what content to create. Yeah.
And we'll get into that. He goes into that in a little bit depth as well. Matter of fact, number two, he says run your URL through the keyword tool. I think this is a great idea. He says the terms, and this is kind of what
interesting,
was saying, right?
Yeah.
The terms that the URL is currently ranking for represent a good expansion opportunities. But what about the terms that you weren't aware of? Right? And that's what he's talking about. And so anytime you notice other words that have the possibility of your site ranking for, or maybe your site is ranking for these other words and you didn't know it, you weren't aware of it until you ran SEMrush, then now you have to use that data.
Yeah.
So take those words and create other supporting content.
Adam DeMoz.
Adam DeMoz, so you can track them
regularly.
exactly. Or maybe you may find a word that's worthy enough to have its own page of content. Write a whole new article, a whole new blog post for that. Link it to the one that's similar, and now you can begin to grow that entire keyword identity. Number three. He says get Google Suggest data for the primary topic of the page. He says you'll get a long list of commonly searched for modifiers around the main topic of your page. So Google Suggests, right? So you go to Google, you start typing, then bam, you get a drop down of related searches.
Right.
That's what he's referring to. And so when you see that drop down of related searches, look at those related searches. And if they indeed are related to what you offer, then the reason, you gotta understand, the reason they're even being suggested is because plenty of people have searched for that.
They are popular.
Yeah, they're popular searches. And so look at those, and if you have content to support it, great, add it, optimize it, write it, post it. If you don't have content to support it, that's okay too. Write it, optimize it, post it. And that way you can begin to rank for similar type search phrases closer to the ones that you already targeting. Number four. He says update your page's title tags, meta description, and alt tags.
You just said don't do that.
He says update those, and at the end of the day, what he's saying is update your SEO once you've done that research.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to be key. We did say don't
be careful.
Do it. Be careful.
Be very careful.
Yeah. So if your page is already ranking extremely well, then it may not be in your best interest to go in and change that title tag and to change that meta description. However, maybe this page is at the bottom of page 1 or somewhere floating on page 2. You know, making a small adjustment to that title may be the perfect change to bump you to the first position, right? Maybe updating that meta description to include the CTA and that phrase or one of those secondary phrases that you found in the Google, search suggest is a great way to boost the ranking of that page. So after you do this research, it's going to be necessary to go in and revisit your on-page SEO. At the end of the day, is what he's saying. If the page is great, then don't make changes, but you have to go revisit it. You need to go check it, and you want to make sure. Number 5. He says flesh out the page with additional content. Wasn't quite sure what he meant by flesh, but after I kept reading, I think I got it. But he's basically saying update this page with additional content. He says the most searched modifiers could be great for subsections of an article or even additional sections of a product or sales page. Great observation and great recommendation.
Great idea. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you do that Google search suggest, and let's just say in our ongoing example, your search was AC Repair Houston, and then Google recommended you search for AC Replacement Houston, then you will know that you may want to, in your product page or in your blog page or whatever page on your site that you talk about AC Repair in Houston, you may want to either add a subsection for AC replacement,
right,
or create a whole new page focused on AC replacement and link the two. But either way, you need to add that fresh content to the site. Number 6. He says add different content types if applicable. He says you can flesh out an existing page with video content, a slide deck, or a data visualization. And he's right. Anytime you can add media, the better. So yeah, in the first one, in number 5, you definitely want to update your verbiage, get more content, get your keyword in there, make sure your density's right, get your page count up, your word count up. But anytime you can add other types of media, right, videos or infographics or slides or whatever that is, it will only help.
Yep.
It would only help. So if you can add more content and media, even better. So that way that page has a higher likelihood of shooting up in rank. Number 7. He says create a specific customized offer. Goes on to say you can get more value out of your most important SEO pages by having the traffic coming to those pages convert better.
Yep.
And he's right. And matter of fact, one of the things we've been doing is depending on the page you're on is going to determine the verbiage of the CTA that you see, right? Got a client, she offers wedding videography and she offers photo booth rentals. And so both of those pages rank well. And if you land on a photo booth page, then you will see a CTA that talks about renting a photo booth.
So this is where you've got the right sidebar, which used to be universal throughout the site, and we're like, okay, now we got traffic, now we're doing exactly what we're talking about in this article, and we're saying, hey, the CTA for the photo booth page really shouldn't be generic, and it shouldn't be for photography services.
Video.
Right.
At first it was just, contact us for a free consultation, period. And you saw that regardless of what page you're on. But now when you land on the photo booth page, you see a CTA specific to photo booth rentals. Right? If you land on one of the videography pages, you see a CTA, a call to action, specific for videography services. So create an offer specific to that page.
To the content on that page.
Definitely. And then, you talk about continuity all the time.
Right.
And so if they search for something and they see it in your ad and then they click and they see more content about whatever they search for on your page, the CTA that's also on that page needs to speak directly to what they search for.
Yep.
Increase your conversions.
Boom.
Number 8. He says layer outreach on the top of that page. I was like, layer outreach? What does he mean by layer outreach? He says if you have a key page that's close to ranking for key terms, you can give it some push with some link outreach. And so what he's talking about now is actually link building, kind of old-fashioned link building, what he meant by the layer outreach in order to get other people to promote that page. So how do you do that? I don't know, maybe you have this page, our AC maintenance page, using the same example, isn't ranking well, but AC repair is and AC replacement is. Well, then it may be worth us to create a small featured section on one of those pages that's ranking well and feature that AC maintenance information. More importantly, we link out to some other resources who can talk about AC maintenance, and since we linked out to them, notify them and let them know that we've linked out to them on this particular page. What's going to happen if you do that, Chuck? I'm glad you asked. They will likely link back to you. They will likely share you. They will likely thank you for linking to them and return the favor. So anytime you can have a page that may need some help, feature it on a page that's already ranking well, link out to some other resources and share it with them. Those people begin to link back, you re-index your site, and you'll likely see a pop. And that's a pro tip.
Yep.
Number 9.
Number
9, he says, do some social promotion of the page. And he's right. So more than just email those people with the link, promote it socially, right? Facebook it, tweet it, Instagram it. How do you do that? And you may want to be creative with the social. Like, don't be kind of generic with your social, but be creative with it. For example, sticking to my example, maybe it's this AC repair and now you've done number 8 and you want to reach out. And so now you want to share it socially. Well, maybe you should come up with a specific hashtag for that page, hashtag AC repair, right? Maybe you want to create a meme of a broken AC unit with the hashtag AC repair on it, or maybe even your CTA is on that meme. Right? Don't be hot as hell this summer. Get your AC repaired, and then you Instagram that, and you tag people in that who you link to those resources in that post. And so now the people who you've been social with can do what? They can retweet it, they can reshare it, they can like it, they can spread it through their own network of people, and that way you have more social activity on that post. And we all know social activities with building links usually generates in higher rankings.
Useful, absolutely.
Number 10. He says, link to the page internally with different useful anchors. Great tip.
Yeah.
Great tip. He says, by highlighting the pages that are very close to ranking, you will spread the link equity and the internal traffic to those pages, which should give them a nice boost. I think the key here is to use anchors that are from your keyword research. What keyword research? Keyword research we was talking about earlier, right? When you did the Google search suggest, or you looked at SEMrush, or you were in Moz, that keyword research. Use those keywords as the anchor text throughout your site whenever you link to that page. So on one page, it's an AC repair in Houston that's linking to the AC repair page. On another page, it may be repairing an AC unit. Right. Is the anchor text that links to the AC repair page. And so as long as you're using those different keywords randomly as the anchor text, then you have a lot of links coming to a certain page with different key phrases.
Yep.
And it's not spam because you're not using the same term over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
So link to the pages using different text, using different anchors. Great article. And his last one, in his final thoughts, he says, if you're an SEO savvy company or agency, then the main takeaway here is that you need to understand the current positioning of a page before you take the step forward. And he's absolutely right, and I totally agree. And I figured I'd close with this. Our process actually includes that. One of the things that we do anytime we redesign someone's site or we even building a new site for someone, we have to look at your current pages. Our goal is to make sure we grow your rank, not lose your rank. And so we want to find those current pages that way we can do proper 301s
right.
and all of that sort of information. And more importantly, so we can know which pages are already ranking. Right, then we'll go in, we'll add some analytics and figure out which one of these ranking pages is actually converting. And now we'll actually do all of that. We like to get it done at least 30 days prior to your new site being done. So that way when we get ready to launch, we have some data we can go and look at in regards to how your site is ranking and how your site is converting. Take advantage of your important SEO pages that are already ranking well. Help them convert better, get more traffic, and grow your business. Man, punch in the face to Tom DeBeers and the good folks over at Search Engine Land, squeezing more value out of your most important SEO landing pages. Great article.
Good stuff. I think we have a little bit of what, right?
They got some what news, got some what news. What? Blank stare, really? Yeah. All in one, kind of.
Right.
Yeah, just.
Wow.
Yeah, so this one goes out.
We could call it wow, too.
Wow. Yeah. Like,
what were you thinking? Yeah.
And this goes out to a client, ironically. So I won't call them by name, but so we have a client that we do all of their internet marketing, their pay-per-click, their SEO, social, and all of that good stuff. And they relocated, which is great. They needed a new location, wanted to be a little bit more.
Moving on up.
Yeah, they're growing. Problem is, they relocated and never shared that with us. They're internet marketing company. So as we were doing citations and working on name, address, and phone and claiming local listings and doing everything else, we had the wrong address.
Google actually let us know.
Yeah, Google let us know. It was like, hey.
They're somewhere else.
Yeah, that address isn't correct.
No.
And I was like, yeah, I just talked to the client earlier today, and they didn't mention that. So we literally put Google on hold, clicked over, called the client, and he was like, oh, yeah, we moved. So blank stare to you. Yeah.
You, client. All right. Cool. So yeah, if you're a client of an SEO company and you move,
and you relocate, please
let them know.
Send them an email, send them a tweet. I mean, that's what I think really got me. He had so many ways to contact me.
Yeah.
You know.
I see him every Tuesday. So yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Let your agency know what your new address is.
We got anything else?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. All right. Hey, if you are looking to grow your business with the largest, simplest marketing tool on the planet,
the internet,
call eWebStyle for increased revenue in your business. Our phone number is 713-592-6724. If you have a referral, you're an SEO or a web designer, you have a client who's interested in getting internet marketing, overall broad-based, taking care of everything that you need to do on the internet, send them our direction. When they pay their bill, we will pay you.
Pretty simple.
We already have a referral program in place for that. I do broadcast. I'm the co-host of the Creative Biz Ideas radio show. We broadcast live. If you go to creativebizIdeas.com, we broadcast live from 7:30 until 8:30 Central Standard Time, and that is on Blog Talk Radio at least for now. We're looking to make some sort of move there. Remember, we were filmed live at 5999 West 34th Street, Suite 106, Houston, Texas 77092. You guys have made us the most popular internet marketing podcast on iTunes. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Gracias.
Yes.
Muchos gracias.
Merci. We got 3. We should learn more. We could do accents. I don't know. That doesn't count. Thank you guys. Until the next podcast, my name is Chris Burris.
I'm Charles Lewis.
Bye-bye for now.